We have heard that jerking off is something totally ordinary, yet to what degree, how frequently, a day might you at any point do it without being viewed as dependent? Imagine a scenario where you can't stop. We should reply these inquiries and why you ought to stop today with this act that appears to be ordinary yet conceals a snare for your life before we start. I might want to apologize for the overstated cover. However, I expected to draw your thoughtfulness regarding this 21st 100 years issue that debilitates and hurts, generally our youngsters and grown-ups, leaving us without determination in this video. You will figure out what happens to our mind logically and rationally, and what apathy needs to show us. This bad habit, likewise recollect to buy into our channel and enact the ringer, so you miss nothing. Now, history of masturbation. How about we start? Current medication is very clear in expressing that masturbation is totally typical in people, as well as additionally confirmed in canines and different warm-blooded creatures. However, this perspective on ordinary masturbation was not generally so. In the past, pee-stroking off was believed to be improper, particularly in men, in light of the fact that useless seed creation kept individuals from replicating. In the instance of ladies, it was trusted that masturbation could remove them from men by tracking down joy all alone, and without help to this ethical weight was added the actual weight expressing that masturbation caused infections, so it was not prudent to rehearse it by any stretch of the imagination. However, how about we return to the current? What do we are familiar masturbation, particularly for men experiencing a sleeping disorder? What is known is that it instigates rest. The issue French establishment of well-being and clinical research inferred that the male mind deactivates sexual craving after climax. The cerebral cortex, the region capable for cognizant idea, goes to rest once the man arrives at peak. This likewise to invalidating the craving to proceed. Having sexual relations work with rest. Subsequently, numerous men nod off later. Sexual action. However, the issue lies with what. So, what's up? Very much secret in one of its advantages is a snare. And in the event that you continuous this channel, you will see what I'm discussing. Masturbation discharges dopamine in your cerebrum. This chemical is liable for cheering us up, giving quiet help from pressure, decrease, and a feeling of remuneration. This is dopamine brought about by dopamine and is so pleasurable that certain individuals become dependent. The demonstrative and measurable manual of mental issues, integrated hypersexuality, jumble disorders, extreme masturbation under the class of over-the-top, impulsive jumble. One more bad habit that prompts mental and furthermore familial annihilation. In many cases, you will not have the option to control yourself, and you become a captive to yourself, a survivor of absence of control along these lines, looking for associations with whores, sex with numerous individuals. And as we found in a past video, exorbitant utilization of erotic entertainment, these are ways that a dopamine-soaked cerebrum finds to get joy. Focused dependence on masturbation comes from synthetic substances delivered in the mind, and as dependence, our mind adjusts to the arrival of these. It wants to find persistently the codes that produce the feeling. Your cerebrum will begin requesting more. Also, more dopamine to accomplish something similar. Delight it had the initial time, making you generally need to continue to search for how to stroke off. Again, this compasses and misrepresented moment that your mind understands that the arrival of dopamine is unreasonable and starts to hinder receptor while trying to stop you. Thus, the individual plays out the delight act. In this case, strokes off yet gets nothing, which disappoints them more than they, as of now, were unnecessarily jerking off to fulfill that yearn for joy, is precisely what a smoker who won't ever stop somebody who eats chocolate until regurgitating, or even a drunkard does. At this point, you should be thinking about what aloofness has to do with this. The Stoics, Aloofness Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Panis of RHS, bosses of poise and intelligence, tended to the perspective on joy and desire, according to a remarkable point of view from the words of Epicurus. To the private considerations of Seneca, they investigated the profundities of human interests, a heritage that actually charms us. For the Stoics, masturbation was not simply a mission for licentious fulfillment, yet a valuable chance to investigate the restrictions of the body and brain. They saw it as in practice in mindfulness and a way to genuine opportunity in their way of thinking. Authority over common interests and delights was a success that raised the human soul. Epicurus declared that it isn't nights of delight, however restraint that recognizes a decent man. In this setting, the capacity to appreciate joy, dominance, while understanding and containing it, has an effect in somebody who has arrived at a more elevated level of mindfulness. Rather than being captives to our longings, we should be their lords, as Seneca reminds us with his philosophical point of view. Unemotional reflection on masturbation isn't just about suppression. However, profound comprehension and discipline, this converts into the capacity to coordinate our feelings toward an excursion of cognizant self-clarification. It dwells not just in passing fulfillment, yet in understanding, tolerating, and embracing our most profound tendencies. From the unemotional viewpoint, each activity has results for us as well as for the regular request of the universe, at the point when we capitulate to our generally extreme wants. As on account of uncontrolled masturbation, we lose that agreeable results association with nature, profoundly esteemed by the Stoics. We become detainees of our wants, floating away from genuine internal quietness. Habitual masturbation can trigger a close to home hurricane inside us, where responsibility, disgrace, and disappointment become dependable. Friends, the Stoics train us to get a handle on our extreme feelings through introspection and self-guideline. By deliberately confronting our feelings, we figure out how to oversee them steadily and usefully. Anyway, the Stoics urge us to discover a true sense of harmony inside ourselves. Genuine fulfillment lies in our discipline and our capacity to track down bliss in what is straightforward and righteous. Permit me to share an individual, rousing story, helpful story. I know somebody who used to battle with urgent masturbation, chasing passing asylum and joy, yet confronting a close-to-home tempest, after each demonstration drenching themselves in unemotional lessons. Furthermore, rehearsing restraint and self-guideline, this individual went through a significant change. They figured out how to stand up to their longings and feelings, deliberately tracking down evident happiness. In poise, they presently carry on with an existence of internal harmony and validness, free from the bondage of transient longings. Valid fulfillment comes from living in agreement with our most profound standards. Also, values. When we respect transitory des wants, we neglect to focus on what we genuinely esteem in life. Urgent masturbation can remove us from our noblest purposes and drift us from the valid bliss, tracked down in prudence and internal harmony. By rehearsing reflection and care, we can advance the psychological serenity expected to oppose. Allurements also face our feelings strongly. This impulse turns into a hindrance to mental quietness, hauling us into laments and directing us from the tranquil harmony, tracked down in poise and control. Asian. My companion, how are you doing your life? Do you think sitting at home, furthermore, watching those recordings and taking joy with your hands, can make you certain, effective? And do you think in the wake of sitting around idly on those bullshits can draw in ladies? Or, on the other hand, if you're a lady, then do you likewise think you can draw in men? No, never so. My companion, think astutely, and I need you to write in the remark that I'm a strong individual. I have command over my brain. I decide to do what spurs me, I pick. to do what further develops me gratitude for remaining with me. You can like the video. Furthermore, buy in for more.